You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. It was funny because my friend Tom said he was listening to one of my episodes, and I was like, what is he doing with his voice? Why is he flying through this? Why is he talking so fast? And he sped up. You know how you could speed up the voice? And he didn't realize it, so he thought I was just acting like an idiot. So he was like, why is he? I was about to call you. I was like, dude, get with it. How dare you fast forward to make it faster so you don't hear my natural tones?
There's a lot of content that everyone's trying to get through.
Yeah. You know what I watched last night was the roast for Tom Brady.
How was it?
It was really good. There was some funny stuff.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that was not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple comedians that were not funny, but there were some, like Nikki Glazer was hilarious. Kevin Hart was hilarious. Hinchcliffe, I think, was funny. There was some funny stuff, man. I laughed a few times, and I was like, yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a good roast. You know, what's his name? Ross is a funny guy.
Oh, Jeff Ross.
Yeah, but Kevin Hart goes, man, if it wasn't for roast, man, Ross, you wouldn't have a career. You just keep the roast coming because other than that, man, what are you doing? Nothing. You just do. It's true.
He's made a thing.
But he makes money, and he does it. He's very funny.
There's some people who are just naturally good at it.
Yeah.
And there are some people who can get away with stuff. And then I did a roast once. I roasted people.
I'm good at roasting. If I have time to write stuff.
I had to do it. The way I had to do it, though, was like I made a song about everyone. Like
I
had to do a musical roast and
I
all
like
had to
that.
rhyme. Because otherwise it just felt mean and it didn't really feel like my voice. And it felt like I had to, it was like I was forcing it. But then when I came up with a little melody and I was like, yeah.
I like that. I was thinking of like how I would have roasted people and like Bert Kreischer. You know, the comedian, how I would roast him. I go, hey, look at me. I'm a fat guy with his shirt off. And that's all I do. And I roll around. Hey, everybody, look, my shirt's off. I'm drinking on stage. Just like a little Farley-esque thing. But he's a funny guy.
Yeah, just do Farley.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for listening. If you're here for Felicia Day and you enjoy the podcast, all I ask is you subscribe, listen, follow us, write a review, whatever you want to do, but follow us. We're a podcast that, you know, we are always looking for listeners. And if you're just finding us, hopefully you'll dig this. And our handles, Ryan?
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter and at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
That's correct. If you go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum, there's a link tree, and it's all the stuff of the cons Tom Welling and I are doing, stuff for the Talkville podcast, my Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath product that is out on Amazon right now. It's amazing. I just shot a commercial for it, so we're gonna put that together. And you know, we got the Smallville Con, the first Smallville Con ever in New Jersey in October. We've got our 2 sold out shows, May 21st and May 22nd for the live pod for Talkville. I'm on the Cameo, my band Sunspin, all that stuff inside of You online store with scripts like Smallville scripts signed and Smallville stuff and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to throw that out there. And you can pre-order my book. It's called The Talented Farter. And it's a sound book, and I'm so proud of it. And it comes out in October, but you can pre-order that now. And we got a great guest today, Feliciaday. She's a friend, and I loved having her here again. And it's been a while, and I like it because sometimes, you know, I like when my peers will reach out and say, "Hey, can I come back on the pod?" or this and that. And sometimes I'm like, "Oh, fuck." But with her, I was like, yes, I'd love to have you on. I mean, she's done so many things, Supernatural, and she's got Felicitations, the podcast, which is very successful, which you need to listen to and we talk about. And I just find her adorable. I don't know what it is, but I just like, I look at her and I'm like, you're adorable. You're adorable. I just think that. So Felicia, you're adorable. And without further ado, let's get inside of Felicia Day. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. You were talking about your socks a second ago?
Yeah, I think that this is the first time I've ever bought socks. And it's not because, you know, I've never worn socks. It's that every holiday, birthday, Christmas, people give me novelty socks.
Why? Because they know you like weird socks?
They know that I like Yeah, I'm whimsical. I'm a whimsical lady, okay? And so if it has a cat on it, or a pizza, or a hot dog,
you like that stuff?
Yes, but this I bought. I felt like I'm growing up. This is just a stripe. It's just a rainbow
stripe. Those are
stripe.
cute. They're very sort of a sexy version of Wicked Witch of the West.
All right, I don't know if this would be like just a crew sock would be sexy, but listen, you get your kinks.
There's something about a good looking sock.
Well, really, it's the ankle underneath. So,
do you have a good ankle?
No, I always felt like I had some thankles,
Thick ankles?
Thick ankles, yeah. Thankles.
Thick ankles.
Yeah.
They call those cankles?
Cankles, that's it.
I don't think you have cankles. I haven't looked really closely at your legs, but, it's each his own or her own.
Well, I was a ballerina. I did a lot of ballet as a kid. So, you have these self-loathing things and you pick weird things. Like my arch was never like archy enough and my ankles were a little too thick and, etc. Just body dysmorphia. It's not healthy.
Do you feel like you have that? Do you feel like no matter how many times people say, gosh, you look great, you look thin, you look pretty, you still look in the mirror and don't see what other people see?
No, I'm disgusted by myself.
Are you really disgusted?
Yeah, but then I look at a picture of me even a year ago and I'm like, you look great. For some reason,
That's
in the moment, I don't know, do you have this? I think it's an actor thing. It's an actor thing.
I don't like looking at myself. I never feel like I take a good picture or whatever. I always do this trick where if there's a group shot, I try to be behind the person a little bit. Or if it's a two shot, my head's a little, because I have a big head, it's a little back to where, so it's not flush with their face.
So in relative comparison, you're self-conscious about your big head.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm not like, I just kind of accept it these days. I mean, if you watch the podcast, you can kind of, or, you can see that I don't put much effort into what I look like, really. I just sort of, sit here and sometimes I'll shave. Ryan, would you agree to that? Yeah. He's not on the microphone. But for
me, I... being somebody who does a lot of online stuff and as an actor, I've decided I need to set the bar extremely low so that whenever I exceed it, people are like, wow.
I agree.
Because otherwise that's your job to look good. And no, it's my job if I'm going to a work thing on a set. You make me look good. Otherwise, my day-to-day I'm a schlub.
I was going to say I agree with you, but not when you say you're a schlub. I don't think you're a schlub. I agree with you. You're a schlub.
I haven't put on pants in weeks. This is for you, buddy.
Thanks. Good pants.
Yeah, they're very.
You have good jeans.
Thank you.
So like Kim Kardashian, whenever she goes out, it's like she has a whole makeup and
she's got people on
got a crew,
staff,
and so she has to look fantastic. And the pressure of like, you can't go to a Lakers game and look like kind of half-assed. Like, oh my God, she really lost it. Not that you should care what people think, but like
Well, that's her job. Her job is to be pretty.
Yeah.
But I'm not into that world. It's too much. It's your full-time job. You played a superhero, right?
Well, you're a super villain.
Well, ish.
Yeah.
So that world, you're constantly having to worry about your appearance and your fitness and all that stuff. I would never want that job. Give me the secretary or the coroner.
I was the bald weird guy, though. I didn't really, other than like he was a billionaire and wore suits. I'm the antithesis of that. Yet, I was also like, the weird, dark kind of looming. Like I didn't have to have the great body, but I did work out because I looked like, I was competing with Tom.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, of course.
He was so handsome and beautiful, and
yeah,
but he's just natural. He had the genes. I didn't have the
he
genes.
had to work for it.
I don't think he worked that hard. I think he just had natural. Yeah,
I'm not happy for him.
No, but let me tell you something. This goes with dating apps too. I don't put my best pictures on dating apps.
Are you on the dating apps?
Sure.
What? Ooh.
Well, what do you want me to do?
I don't know.
I don't go out. I don't leave my house.
No, I hear you. It's
most of the time, you don't. I never go out with a woman. I go to lunch or have coffee because it's an hour. And if they don't like you or you don't like them, it's not awkward. It's easy. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. It was great meeting you. I wish you the best. Blah, blah. And nothing happens. It doesn't matter. But if you go to dinner, it's like a couple of hours.
No.
And it's fun, comfortable for me.
No.
So what I'm saying is in these apps, sometimes you see these women and you're like, beautiful. Oh my God. Look at this. Natural. And then you meet them and you're going to be disappointed because they're never going to look like these pictures.
No.
So I try to make it where I put pictures of me that I'm like, oh, he's wearing a wig. I do have a picture of me playing hockey where I'm skating and I have this horrible wig on. And like, I'm like, people are like, oh, he's funny. He's quirky.
Yeah.
He's like, and maybe that when they see me, they'll go about the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe better, but it's better than...
If you put a weird wig hockey picture on there, you definitely are going to be better in person. You're setting the bar low. See? You can only exceed it. And then people will be like, ah.
Well, I thought it was kind of funny.
I think it's charming. You're charming. You're fine.
You wouldn't have clicked.
No,
right?
Never.
Never.
Well, first of all, I think hockey is the most boring thing you could imagine.
You are absolutely wrong. Have you ever been to a hockey game?
No, I never.
Well, then, Sister Christian, let me tell you something. I have grown up playing hockey, and I have gone to sporting events, and there's nothing like going to an NHL hockey game. The speed, the hits, the checks against the boards, the shots, the stopping on a dime, spraying the ice, sometimes an occasional fight breaks out, but like you are not only, it's like you're not playing soccer, you're playing soccer on ice with sticks. Oh gosh. Boris State University. All right. Well, I love it. And you know what? I'm going to take you to a hockey game one day.
No.
Please try it.
No, I won't.
Why?
I don't want to.
Well,
my life is short. I want that 2 hours back already.
It's 3.
It's way too long. What are you talking about?
I promise you. I'll tell you what. I'll give you $100 cash if you hate it.
No, I don't want to do it. I am at the point in my life where I just don't want to try things that I don't want to do.
All right, fine.
Like crickets, I'm
not asking you to try it. I'm asking you to go see. You won't eat a cricket. We're talking about eating crickets and playing hockey here?
It's the same. It's both repulsive.
Feliciaday, I looked at your resume, and you've been on the podcast a long time ago.
A long time ago. Before I had a baby, maybe.
And before, no, I think you
How many years?
Just had a baby.
Oh, boy.
How old's your baby?
7, almost 7.
Then maybe you didn't have the baby yet. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
But what I'm going to say is I look at your resume, and we'll get into Third Eye, which is Audible's like one of their favorite shows, and we'll get into felicitations. You still doing that?
Kind of.
All right.
I'm not as devoted to you as you. I do a podcast with my friend Tom Link called Undressing, where we just watch some TV shows that we already text about. So that's more fun. I have a problem. How do you continue this wonderful podcast for so many years?
Honestly, I say it all the time, but my patrons, the patrons who listen to this podcast and support this little podcast, they support me on Patreon, and they are so devoted, and we get into mental health and we talk about real stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not like talking actory stuff. I'm just trying to like have a conversation, and I've learned to, I think, get better at it and more comfortable and natural and not really give a shit and kind of talk about my insecurities. And it's sort of therapy for me. And I think it's therapy for a lot of people. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
Maybe that's why.
I think you're right. You can't just be accountable to yourself. You got to be accountable to other people. And having even that small amount of, support, you feel guilty. You're like, I can't abandon them. They're people showing up for me.
Yeah,
They're
they don't abandon me.
Exactly.
I have some people that have been patrons for 5-6 years.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. But I was looking at your resume.
Okay.
And it's like double majored in mathematics and classical violinist and, top 4% at your university, graduated at 19 or some shit, like all this stuff. And as smart as I knew you were, I was like, she's intelligent. You're like really wicked smart, and you were homeschooled.
But what does smart mean? Because I'm socially not smart at all. I'm business not smart, but I'm smart as far as learning stuff.
Not me.
Yeah, I think there's, I just read this book to my kid last night about how different kinds of smart there are. And you can't really measure intelligence, right? You can't, an IQ number doesn't tell you anything because, again, you get a big number, you get a 4.0. That doesn't mean that you can get along with people. Doesn't mean you're creative. Doesn't mean you're physically smart, quote unquote. Like there's so many ways to be smart. And I feel like, that's having a kid that really makes me more acutely aware of the fact that, this number that we always place on people is kind of destructive because then you kind of encourage kids to abandon the other ways they could be smart and more talented and feel bad about themselves that they're not getting A's all the time. Well, that doesn't matter when you get out of the world into the world where you're not getting A's. Nobody gives you grades, right?
Yeah.
So,
I agree with you. I think I'm really smart in the sense of if wit is smart. Like I'm witty, I'm creative, I'm all these things, but I know some trivia and things like that, and I'm whatever. But there's certain things that I think it's all about how you're raised.
Yeah,
and I was raised to always feel like I was a dummy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, always. I was called dummy and
Why?
stupid,
Who?
not
Who
smart.
called you that?
Well, I mean, they weren't that important in my life. People in my life, my parents, of course,
That's
they were important.
horrible.
Yes, but that
breaks my heart.
I know, and that's really difficult for me because no matter how you work on it, you're like, you go to therapy, and they're like, Michael, look what you've accomplished, and look what you've done. And like, I know, but I'm a dumb guy that did this.
No,
I'm a dumb guy that succeeded. No, I'm not asking for pity parties.
No, I'm just saying, little baby you was abused. That's abuse. It is.
I wasn't coddled. I wasn't. Yes, and that's all true, and that's so important for parents, especially at developmental ages. Those ages where you're so influenced and they make a mark.
Yeah.
And if your kid hears how smart he is and wonderful he is, and like, hey, you just try. All you have to do is do your best, and I'm proud of you. And like those things are so important. And I never heard those things. And so what I do is I try to stop myself when I think those things, but sometimes they still bleed through. Like there's a certain thing where, I have a certain problem when I have to repeat something someone says.
Mm-hmm.
My mind doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But learning lines and, coming up with stuff and improvising, that's great. But if someone say blah, 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 I'm like, wait, what? I'm a deer in headlight. There's something that doesn't compute in my head.
Well, it's also people's judgment. I just recently did a short. I did a short film, and I played for the first time a horrible like a murdering, not a whore, a horrible bee. Just like a murder, and I was so confident for the first time in my life on set. I was like, you'll get what you get, and you're gonna like it. And I didn't realize that, I am a very quick, quirky person. I'm very likable. I'm very happy generally, but I'm very nervous, anxious.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could play a character that centers me in myself and being like, I'm sorry, I'm perfect the way I am, is like, why couldn't I channel that for years, for the last several decades? Because it wasn't reinforced that I was wonderful the way I was judged on my achievements. I don't think, it was intentional, but it was an environment where intellect and achievement was praised, and I, being a person who loves to please people, and I took that on as my self-reflection of myself. And so I'm valuing myself only as my achievements and not intrinsically as who I am.
Wow.
And so that's what I've had to work on my whole life,
I think you're not alone. I think that I thought being on a hit show would make certain people in my life go, you did it. You're proud. You're this. You're something. And you can't rely on that. And you learn that.
Yeah.
And there's got to be one moment in your life that occurs where you say, "Hey, I don't need that outside validation." And as much as I am getting so much better at it, and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna do it." We still crave that as artists. We still want to be accepted. We still want to be, I don't know, adored.
Well, I agree with you. This I declared after doing that short in December. I've decided 2024 is the year that I am enough. I'm enough exactly the way I am. And I don't care if that maybe cuts off an opportunity with somebody else, or an opportunity at a job that I'm not like eager enough, or I'm not like beating, down the bushes, or going to a park. I'm enough exactly the way I am. And I don't care what happens, how the world reacts to that.
Inside of You is brought to you by Shopify, the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. If you don't have Shopify, I don't know who you are, because I use it and I'm not good with computers and figuring things out and navigating. And Shopify is so simple. I put products on there like t-shirts and mugs and hats, and it's so easy. Just everything's right there for you. It says add product. You add it. You upload the picture. You put a description. You put your price. It's that easy. You could track things like what product is doing great, what isn't, what's your top selling product. You could promote things and do discounts, and it's so easy and fun to do. I put like Star Wars 15, and that was my code, and that's to get 15% off. And it's so much fun to use. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way up to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage, Shopify is there to help you grow.
Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered.
Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms, and sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star.
Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every step of the way.
Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/inside, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/inside now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/inside. Do you go to therapy?
Not right now. I have many times in the past, but I'm like okay with myself right now.
But hang on. Why do people do this to themselves? Why do people go to therapy when they're, oh my God, nothing's working. I have to see someone. And then they go, oh, and then they feel good again. They're like, okay, I don't need that. It's like not getting your oil changed, it's like, to me, therapy is going to always be in my life because I want to stay sort of at a homeostasis or whatever the hell they call it.
You're right. No, you're right. We should probably, there's nothing, you can't, if you keep digging, you're never going to stop finding something to work on. You're right. And yeah. I think it's just a time thing for me. And I really have been struggling the last several years with my health. And
what's the matter?
Oh, man. Just ever since I had a baby, it's been like and it's been like a hormone thing. It's been anxiety. It's been sleep. It's been SIBO. It's been like 5 or 6 different physical things.
Are you hard to live with?
No. Well, the problem is sleep. My kid ruined me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She ruined me. Like, she didn't sleep for 2 years. And then when she starts sleeping, I have insomnia because I have such a bad hormone imbalance from her interrupting my sleep. I'm very sleep sensitive, right?
Yeah.
So I had to, try 50 different things before actually getting on medication, and then that worked. And then I decided to go off it because I'm like, great now. And then I was struggled, tried other medications, which are not easy to transition off and on, brain meds. And then I finally went back to the Lexapro that I'm on now. And I'm like, great.
That's what I'm on.
It's great.
Listen, it's great for certain people.
Yeah.
We don't want to tell everybody, get on Lexapro.
No, of course not.
Out of all the things, Lexapro has worked the best for me.
Yes.
With that stuff.
Agree,
and I take something for sleep that is non-addictive, but
gabapentin?
No.
No. Okay.
Does that really help you?
No, I don't take it anymore. I don't take anything for sleep. I have to be super disciplined.
And I'm not saying to take this. Please don't take this. Go to your doctor.
Go to your doctor.
But I take a little trazodone every night before I go to bed.
Oh, yeah. And it's not addictive. It's fun.
And that...
Yeah. From what I hear.
I wouldn't say fun. It's more fun to actually sleep.
Yeah.
But like I haven't been sleeping lately because my dogs are waking me up at 1:30 and the wind's going crazy in LA. Yeah, they've been waking me up for some reason. Like they have to go out. I'm like, well, you never had to do this. Let's not change your habits. I'm going to let them piss themselves.
No. Well, you know what? I have an automatic dog door. What are you doing?
Because I don't trust them with an automatic dog door.
No. It's a Wi-Fi collar. It's a Wi-Fi collar on their thing, and it just you go up to the door, and it opens, and they leave, and it closes, and you can control it from afar. It's the best thing I've ever bought because I got the dog. Okay, I was pretty stable.
Wow.
It's Pet Tech, something or other. Let me just tell you, we adopted a dog 1 year ago, and I had just finally gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm sleeping pretty good. I can't do all these things. I can't have sugar. After 1, I can't have any caffeine. I can't have these things before bed. It is a little bit restrictive, but at the same time, I was like, I found it. I found what gets me to sleep, even through my cycle, because it's basically, I got PMDD, which is extreme PMS. So whenever my cycle would change.
Real. That is real deal.
It's real. So that's what I developed after I had a kid. And so all the supplements, all of the medication is all to just sort of like stay even throughout the month.
Yeah.
And this dog was she'd have diarrhea. And I'm like standing there. I'm like, why are you up at 1 having diarrhea? Please. So
because you're feeding me diarrhea-worthy treats.
It's true. It's true. She was just
I'm lactose intolerant, you bitch. Didn't you learn anything from the short film you worked on?
So anyway, I was like, I got to do something. I'm either going to put her outside, which you can't do. You can't just have an outside dog. And I got this Pet Tech dog. It's the best thing. It works perfectly.
Expensive?
Yeah.
Did they install it?
You got to get somebody to install it. It's
Do they have to dig a hole, cut out a thing?
They cut out the thing in your door, or you can put it in the wall. They have 2, and it was not hugely expensive. It's under.
I have a lot of glass.
You can figure it out. I can look. I'll I'll look around, okay?
Look around.
But I'm telling you, what happens if they can just take care of themselves? You sleep all night. It's so beautiful.
I'll still wake up when I hear the,
No. Do you live by? It is. Do you live
the
by
door's
there?
open.
Do you not?
Do I live?
I mean, do
I
you
sleep?
sleep right by the door?
I have a door in my bedroom.
Well, then you got to put the door. Can you put the door to the backyard outside, away from you? Also, I sleep with earplugs.
We're going to talk about this for now, and people are going to go, shut up about the door thing. But you're right. I'm going to do it.
Okay, I'll after this.
All right.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, game changer.
I want to talk. Well, first of all, Third Eye.
Yeah.
On Audible.
Yeah.
Now, did you write this? You direct it?
No, I didn't direct. My friend Jonah Ray directed it. I did produce it, and
Will Wheaton,
Neil Gaiman, Sean Astin,
Christopher Judge.
Yes. Amazing. London Hughes, Lily Pichu.
And in a nutshell, how would you describe the show?
It's a TV show for your ears. I would describe it like that because it's literally 10 episodes of TV I wrote, but it's just audio. And it's about a chosen one who failed and has to live with herself until one day a girl comes in and kind of blows her pathetic life up. So it's a fantasy comedy, and I play Laurel Pettigrew. It's kind of like if Harry Potter choked and Voldemort just took over. That's how her life, 10, 15 years of that, being a loser. You don't have a lot of self-worth. And
then you become a bad person.
Well, no, you're just a sad. I mean, Laurel, it's interesting.
Isn't Voldemort a mean guy?
He's the bad guy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't like a Harry Potter analogy because I think, J.K. Rowling is trash because of her politics. But, at the end of the day.
Wow. But you still could like what she's done.
It's hard.
It's it's hard. That's true. Is it? I'm going to get to something.
If she was dead, it'd be one thing. But she's actively doing things every day that kind of harm people for who they are. And I'm just like, why? Why would you do that?
Right. So you went from an absolute love and adoration to absolute, Yeah,
I love what she created.
Right.
I do, but I can't enjoy it. I can't be like, I can't wait for my kid. Like my kid is now into Pokemon. And I'm like, I can't wait. Here's a Pokemon jersey. Here's a bunch of more every day. Pokemon cards. Here, we'll get a binder. Here's the game. She, has a little Pokemon club I found on Saturdays. She can go and learn. I'm just like, yay. But, it's not like I'm excited to take her and introduce her to Hermione, who I think is an amazing.
I understand that. I think there's something to be said. Like, I'm not going to say it, but I always loved this actor. Mm-hmm. And I had met this actor and they were really nice to me. And then I saw a dark side to this actor and really upset me and made me uncomfortable. And I saw how rotten this person was.
Oh, that's
and
too
now
bad.
It's hard for me to watch the movies that he's in.
Yeah.
And I loved those movies. I loved him like nobody else. I wanted to be him.
Wow, that's tough.
I wanted to, and it's difficult. It's difficult because there's some movies that you're like, wow.
It's amazing work, yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard. But anyway, so the show, and actually it was a TV show that I pitched and nobody bought it. And it was really devastating to me that I couldn't sell this. This was right after The Guild. The Guild, I kind of burned out and for several years I couldn't write. And I came up with this idea in like 2015, 16, pitched it, thought it was going to be like a hit. Nobody even bought it to develop it. And it was crushing to me. And so I kind of retreated again. I couldn't write again for a couple of years. I really let the business get to me in a way that was not healthy. But,
we all do.
Easy to do. So then finally, when I got the opportunity in 2019, which is like 4 years ago, to turn it into an Audible original, it was great. And we were supposed to have a writer's room, write it and have it out within a year. And COVID hit. So I ended up writing 400 pages of script by myself. And, we stopped and started over COVID because of just delays.
Would you have table reads with the actors?
No, I wrote it and then
you just read the script and we're going to record it.
I did like 45 revisions. It used to be like 550 pages. And they were like, okay, let's cut it down and here's some notes. And the wonderful thing about Audible is Matt Patterson, my exec there, he gave me for the first time in my life good notes where, all my Hollywood development had been hell.
So not too many cooks in the kitchen all the time.
No.
And now this is a time where you're like, hey, there's just this one person who has my back.
Who was, a writer himself and has amazing taste and, it was just a pleasure to work with. And also, Hollywood, I'm sure you've developed things. They don't want to develop things for the integrity of the project. They're developing things for them, right? So
yeah, it's all marketing. They hire marketing
Exactly.
people. They sort of make the decisions.
exactly.
Will this make money? No, fuck it.
Yeah. And then you kind of get into the mindset as a creator, like what will sell versus like, what do I actually want to see?
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the privilege. And that's why now going forward, I'm not really excited to develop for Hollywood. I'm not going to rule it out, but I'm really now concentrating on just telling my stories, whether it's a graphic novel or an audio
Good.
project or, whatever it is. It's small scale. It's not going to make me more famous or rich, but I'm going to tell the stories I want to tell.
And how long are each episode?
They're about 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah,
And how
so
many
it's-
episodes have you done?
10. So it's like, it's a standalone thing, It's like beginning, middle, and end. It's meant to be like a book. So, Audible marketed it as an audiobook, but
Yeah.
it's fully performed by, cast. So I think of it more as a TV show.
Third Eye.
Yes.
And I want to read a role, even if it's like 5 lines.
Well, it's over, but next one.
Next
yes,
one.
I'm going to get you in there.
Get me in there. I would read something.
I'd love that.
And you all record together or separately?
We recorded it over a year ago, right when COVID was still there. So we recorded, separate pods. But I, especially like, okay, there's me, there's Sean Astin who plays Frank the
Love
Vampire.
Sean so
oh my
much.
God, he's so funny.
I love him. He's been on the podcast like 3 times.
So sweet.
I adore him. There's very few people that I just look at and go, I want to hold you.
He's wonderful. He's literally,
he's
his
wonderful.
spirit is wonderful. Anyway, so he is one of the leads. London Hughes, this amazing British comic. So for like core characters and like romances, there are a couple of romantic arcs. I wanted to make me and Danny Pudi and Will Wheaton in London and a couple of others. So I had them be in, separate booths, but recording together just because chemistry is important. I think for audio stuff, a lot of this stuff is kind of stiff and it feels like an old-timey radio play. And I was like, anything but that. And I think my friend Jonah, who's an improviser and stand-up and everything, he voice directed and he really got a quality where you feel like people are in the room together, even if they aren't, which is great.
Right. So you're like, say it again, but be more playful. Give
Yeah.
a little bit of a little improvise there. Do this.
Mhm.
And then it just feels like there's 2 people having conversations.
Yeah. And a lot of the time I was just reading with everybody. So I've read every scene like 20 times.
You're exhausted. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It is.
Those audio books and the whatever when you're recording. And most of the time, they don't. Do you pay the actors?
Yeah. I mean, you're not retiring on it, but it's
Right.
You're calling in favors. Felicia
Right.
Favor Day. That's my name.
Yeah. Because they're like, one time they're like, hey, they want you to read this book. I forgot
wow.
the book. And they're going to pay you $300 a session of 4
What?
hours or something like.
No, it's so
and it's
hard.
like, I'm like, of reading in 3 hours in, you're just exhausted.
But your voice is amazing. I
My
think,
voice?
Yeah, your
I don't
audio
do a lot of
books.
voiceovers anymore. No one asks me to do that stuff. I mean,
Got to get better
thanks.
reps. You got to get new reps.
I don't know what it is. I think it's more. I was so into it and doing so well at it, and then I kind of was like, I don't need this right now. I'm gonna go. And then when I came back, they're like, oh, we already have the people we work with.
Yeah.
So that's fine. If it will happen if it happens.
Work begets work.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. This is the show that I saw on the billboard, right? That I sent to you.
Yes, on Sunset.
I saw your face, and it was like the new Audible best shows of the year and Third Eye. That was the one that I sent you the picture.
Oh, yes. It was so sweet.
That
I got
was
a lot
so
of
exciting.
I know.
was like, oh
I've never
my
been on a
God.
billboard like that before, ever for
They
anything.
really believe in this show. You guys
They did.
have to check this out.
They
and
did,
it's all
yeah.
these people that you love, so you're going to have to listen to it.
No, they really bad. I mean, honestly, that was why I wanted to do it with them because I'm like, well, their marketing is fantastic. They like go the distance,
Is the listenership pretty good?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have specific numbers, but it was definitely in like the top 10 for many weeks. And like they, it's promoted it a lot. And I just, I was so happy to get it out there. It is a strange thing to say, hey, listen to a TV show in audio. Like it's not like something instinctively people do every day, but a lot of people are audiobook listeners and it's so easy to just put on and do other things. I'd rather listen to something than actually watch TV because then I have to sit and I'm like, I need to go do the dishes.
Yeah, I'm more of a visual person. I like documentaries. But if it's something engaging and something that I like, I'll zone in there. I'll get in the zone, man. So that's good. I'm listening to Rob Reiner's JFK assassination.
That's a
thing.
light listening.
Yeah, that's what I like. History, real stuff. I'm all about nonfiction. Well, we were talking about JK Rowling, right?
We were a little bit.
Right. And
Stirring up that
your
nest.
disdain for her. Well,
It was more disappointment.
Well,
You are the richest person in one of the richest people Okay?
Yeah.
And
So
you're
what are
an
you doing?
inspiration to people all around. Do you think that your position is going to change people's minds? And you have all that money. Go build a bunch of playgrounds. If I had that much money, I would just be building playgrounds around the world. I'd be buying rainforest. I'd be helping people improve themselves. And regardless, like, this is not an issue to literally burn a franchise and harm people with. It's so weird to me.
I just say, look, mostly in entertainment industry, it's like, I think why the other side gets so upset is when a lot of actors are always talking or pontificating and authors and this and about these. Now, there's certain things that you should, stand behind, but certain things like you have all the success, you have all this millions. If you really don't know exactly what you're talking about and you don't have a real knowledge in what you're talking about, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's
Just
hard.
shut the fuck up.
Don't wade in.
Just entertain the world. And that's your thing. Your purpose is to entertain and make people happy and smile and forget about their day and shut the fuck up for the most part.
Be educated.
Be educated if you're going to speak. That's it.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't feel like I'm educated
Also,
enough to really talk about stuff.
Let people live their lives. Nobody's getting harmed by people being who they need to be.
Yeah.
It's simple. You mind your business, I'll mind mine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not hurting people.
What's the deal with all this?
So simple.
So what I was going to ask you, and you could not, I mean, people have answered this, but you did the thing that really prompted a lot of careers or started a lot of careers, the horrible sing-along.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Horrible.
Which was a big thing for all of you, which
amazing.
It was completely inadvertent that the success of that just kind of took off you and Nathan Fillion and blah,
I mean,
blah.
he was already a thing.
Yeah. Well, not as big. That also blew him up a little more.
Well, Maybe every blow up is good.
Right, but it was like a big thing.
It was a very big thing.
And at the time, I'm sure you were like, Joss Whedon, I'm thank you, and he's great. But then all this stuff came out, and he's kind of disappeared off the planet now. I don't hear from Joss Whedon. And I've had some guests come and talk to him and talk about him. And is there anything you even want to say? Like, do you feel the same way about like JK, like you did him? Like,
I don't want my experience to negate anybody else's experience with someone. He's an amazing friend and mentor to me. But at the end of the day, I can only represent me. And I definitely can't negate other people's experiences. So I'm not going to say
that's
anymore.
Smart, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay. If somebody said, people said, hey, you knew Kevin Spacey. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I did 2 movies with him. And did he hit on you? Did he? And I go, no. I mean, but like I didn't experience what other people experience. And I do not, it's not like I go, that never would happen. But my experience, I just can't talk about it because my experience is way different. My interaction with him was completely different than everybody else's. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's not that I don't believe other people and I don't see what's going on and all the shit that happened and hear stories and this and you're like, wow. I just didn't experience that. Was that the same thing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't have to talk about it. Inside of You is brought to you by Betterhelp. I don't know how many times I have to talk about this, but it's so important. If you're sitting there right now and you're stressed or you're anxious or you have a lot on your mind and you just bottle it up and you don't know what to do, it's going to come out, and it's not going to come out in great ways all the time. BetterHelp has helped me substantially. Ryan here have been using it for a while. And don't you notice when you don't use BetterHelp, when you don't have therapy?
Oh, the weeks where I miss a session? Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the more you talk about something, even if you don't think you have anything to talk about, things come up and it puts your mind at ease. And we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And at times we keep carrying them around rather than processing them and letting them go. When we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively.
Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down.
Therapy from BetterHelp is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's for all of us. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I think people think, oh, what if I don't like my therapist? If you don't, you switch them. It's that easy. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. What we will talk about is Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, will we?
Well, I was just a big fan growing up, and I always wanted to do that. I've always tried to come up with my own show of doing that, but with horror movies. And we're sitting there and go with bad horror movies and just going, hey, look at that. I'm an axe-wielding idiot.
Do you talk during movies? Do you
All the
talk during
time.
movies?
I have a horror group.
Really?
And every Tuesday night, we watch horror movies. A lot of times they're bad. And we sit there and we go, oh, another allegory. Of course. Who directed this one?
Why do you like horror so much? Because I literally I don't think I've seen more than 1 or 2 horror movies ever. Do you like the really nasty ones, like the Saws and stuff? Or
no, I'm mostly into psychological, paranormal, good stories, thrillers. Sometimes if the effects are really great, it's kind of cool to see a little bit of a slasher film because you don't really take it seriously. But I like to be scared, and very few films scare me. It's like an adrenaline rush. It's like when you're on a roller coaster at an amusement park. I'm like, oh my gosh. And when that happens, it's so fun. And the reason I became a horror movie fan was because when I was 8 years old, my mother had nobody to watch horror movies with. My dad was at work, or he wouldn't want to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom would go, hey, I rented Motel Hell and Make Them Die Slowly. You want to watch them with mom? And
how old were you?
8.
No.
Yeah, and so that's
inappropriate.
Completely.
I get so okay. Some people will come up to me and God bless them, and they'll be like, "Oh, my son and I, we love watching Supernatural together," and they're like 4, and I'm like, "I don't know, man. I mean, it's that, and that's not even that scary."
No.
So, but at the end of the day, I was traumatized by Bambi, and I was traumatized by Dumbo. Those two
I don't
things.
think I ever saw those movies.
Yeah, it just involved mother death, and
my mom wasn't showing me Disney shit.
This is making me very concerned for your upbringing and kind of adding up a
course.
lot. I'm worried.
I was not raised by the greatest role model
you
here.
need a hug. You need, boy.
Well, listen, it's funny why I'm very, a little closed off, and like when somebody tries to be affectionate with me, I'm just like,
you don't trust him, right?
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to it. So it's not that I can't be affectionate. I can be affectionate with other people, but sometimes
But you weren't affectionate with her because it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It wasn't safe to be affectionate with the one person who should be the safest.
No, I couldn't confide in my parents.
Or 2 people. That's just so
I would tell them
tough.
something, and then I'd hear them telling their friends, and I'd make fun of me.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Oh yeah, that happened. It was brutal. But what I'm saying is about the horror movies, I think, I just started to watch them, and I met a couple of guys in college that loved horror and were really into it and go, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And it kind of became like this little, like a book club, but with horror.
That's cool.
And so, I became good friends with Eli Roth before he got all his big stardom, and we talked. I was supposed to be in the first Hostel.
You didn't get to be?
It was either the first Hostel. Yeah, first Hostel. I was supposed to be in that, but I was filming Smallville. I was supposed to be in Cabin Fever. I was filming Smallville.
Were you frustrated with all that? Like, were just like, oh, I can't believe I can't make this work out. Like, I'm sure they tried, but
I don't love working a lot.
I don't either.
So I felt like this, I need to do one thing. I can't do a ton of things. So it scares me. There's a couple of projects that might happen now. And I'm like, what do I do? I'd have to put a whole bunch of episodes in the can for the podcast, and I'd have to do this. And what do I do with it? It's like
I'm the same way. I just got an agent for the first time in 5 years. I have not had any representation except for voiceover.
And you have a lawyer.
I mean, I do, but nobody knew how to get me. I wasn't even on the breakdown. And, I'm fine with it because I really was.
You should be working all the time.
I'm not.
But that's because you don't have an agent.
I don't have an agent. So I just got a manager, and I'm like, okay, but I'm actually scared because what if I get a show in Toronto, or, what do I do with my kid? I have to give up my streaming and all my writing, and like, I have a life. I like to, walk my dog.
Let me ask you this.
I do need the money.
Can you continue on doing what you're doing and making a living and being happy without getting a big show or doing this? Or do you feel like you need to get on a show? You need to get a movie. You need to do these things. And then do you want really to do them?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, if it was light, I want to be like 6th on the call sheet.
I always say that.
I just want to be a person who gets to play with other people I enjoy. I'd love to be a coroner on like a procedural because they don't show up every day. they get to do the fun scenes. And then once the season, they come out of their corner lab and they're like, oh,
I
no.
always say the same thing.
Yeah.
My agent says, hey, they want you. They're very interested in
Well,
you.
you're a
for the
lead. You're a lead person.
No, but I don't want to be I don't want to be a lead.
No.
Unless it's like a movie.
A movie is great.
A movie is great. But like a TV show, I don't know if I'm 51, the back issues. I don't know if I want to do that shit.
I mean, I think that I love working. And the thing about me being an actor is not only the work, because I actually get to the point where I enjoy my work. I'm less nervous and I'm less anxious about, like, I'm more confident in my performance. I know what I'm doing. But the things I love doing are things like Third Eye and my graphic novel that's coming out next year.
Don't stop doing those.
And I'm never, but then the acting really helps people, still be active in my career. Whereas if I just became a novelist or a writer or something, it would be harder to muster, people to support the things I do on the side. And I would miss it. It's fun to be on set, but you're right. I don't think I would take like 22 episode show because there's no way I could do that in the things I love.
I just don't want to do bad things anymore.
What do you mean bad things? Have you done some bad work?
Projects that there's some actors and God bless. Look, if I needed to work constantly, I would do anything. I would fucking do anything.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is I stopped doing favors for people.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not going to do your movie because you're my friend.
Let me just tell you.
I'm going to do it if it's really a great movie and I want to do it.
Yeah, I'll have fun on set.
I'll have fun, an element of fun, and I think it could go somewhere because I believe in it.
I'll tell you,
if I don't have one of those, or both of those things, I'm not going to do it.
No, you know what? I have done so many. I lived on favors.
Yeah.
The Guild, I've traded everything to make everything, and I did so many favors.
And that's okay.
It's fine, but I have never gotten those favors paid back. It's not like it got me more work
my God.
So at the end of the day, you got to do the favor for your own self, thinking that it never will pay off because it's not a bartering system, right? Like people will come and show up when they need you and they will drop you like an old cigar.
Dude, and people, this industry, no matter, even sometimes friends.
Yeah.
When you're like, you do favors for them and all of a sudden they hit it big and then all of a sudden they're doing these things. I'm like,
yep. You're not texting
me
anymore.
Over here.
Yep.
Over here, Arby's roast beef sale.
And you know what? I fired all my agents and I won't even blame them. I just hired the wrong people and it wasn't their fault. I was not in a good place to know myself, to know who I needed on my team. So I went with the people said I should go with. So I don't even mind that. But when COVID hit and I fired them and then a year later COVID hit and then all these sort of like tentacles that are like touching you, kind of draining your energy are gone because you're not useful anymore. It was the best experience ever.
Isn't it?
Because
like you're leaving me alone.
Yeah. And they weren't adding to my life. They were just taking. And I think, at the end of the day, our time is so valuable.
It is.
And when we give it away.
Our friends, our families,
our real
friends. Memories.
Yes.
That is the most important thing. The older you get, you realize you can't take any of this shit with you.
No.
The only thing that matters is seeing Ryan in the morning.
Oh, it's Ryan. It's all about Ryan here.
Or it's, seeing an old friend.
Yes.
Or talking with your grandma who's 95 and you don't know how much longer, sending her flowers and her it's these moments that make you feel good, feel alive. And if you're not feeling that in your work and you have the opportunity to not do that, then great. But a lot of people, unfortunately, have to work at a place, whether you're an actor or not, have to work at places where, to make a living, to feed their family. And that's admirable and that's noble. And that's also, you have to do that.
Yeah.
So,
also, my brother's the kind of guy who has a job and he does it well, but it's not his passion, but his job supports his passion. He loves skiing. He loves doing all these things. He loves his gardening. So, we're lucky we live our careers or our passions. You don't need that in life to be happy. Yeah. You just have to have a passion, whether it's, your family, whether it's a hobby, a combination thereof. You just have to have something that means something to you every day. In some capacity, I think, to have, meaning.
Can you sing that song by, who's that singer? Melissa Etheridge, If It Makes
You Happy.
That's it. What is it?
If it makes you happy, and it can't be that bad. Yeah.
You're trained. All right.
Sheryl Crow.
Not really.
Sheryl Crow. Oh, sorry. Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow, guys, don't know.
Boy.
I don't like that song anyway. Mystery Science Theater 3000, briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to get into some questions. How was your time and experience on that?
Oh, well, it was So I only got that job because I met Joel Hodgson in the green room at a convention just to take a selfie with him to rub it in my brother's face because we were huge fans as kids. And through that selfie encounter, he emailed me and asked me to be on the show. I thought as a guest star, turns out I was a Forrester. I was a Mad. And I started crying when he asked me. It was incredible. And I've done 2 seasons and
oh
boy.
gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Can you
See?
do me a favor?
Mhm.
Would you mind just emailing him and saying, by the way, Michael Rosenbaum wants to know that he is in love with that show and always has been. Just say that.
I will tell him that,
Please.
I mean, if
And
there's
he ever
another
wants
season.
me on to do anything, I would do anything.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, so whenever I hear Joel's voice in person, it's like, whoa, I like startled because he has such a distinctive voice. You're just like, is it the TV or is it Joel?
This has been awesome. It's so easy. It's effortless, isn't it?
I know. You're good.
You're good.
8 years? How long have you been doing this podcast?
6 years?
How many years?
I think 6 years.
6 years?
Five or 6
So I
years.
did come after my baby because she's almost 7 this month.
Okay.
But it must have been super.
Yeah, it was super early. You were
Wow.
Yeah.
I must have been out of my
I think
mind.
so. Yeah. Well, you were cool though. You were a little intimidating. I think you were.
Really?
I think you were moody. No, you weren't. You were great.
I was excited for a second. I was like, ooh, I intimidated Rosie.
Yeah, I think you might have been.
Oh,
You
good.
might have.
That
It was
makes me
early on.
happy.
Everybody was intimidating me then, but
I was way intense back then. I was still like,
yeah, you were intense. You're definitely lighter now.
I
You're like
don't-
a feather woman.
I don't have a company anymore. Never run a company.
Yeah, screw companies.
No responsibility, employees, payroll. No.
My last question is,
Okay.
who growing up or even being an actor, who's your hero? And have you ever met a hero that made you like go, I wish I wouldn't have met that hero?
I mean, we already talked about the incident with you. That must have been horrible.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled, as you know, so I didn't watch like TV like other kids. I was
Right.
not up on the pop culture of the time, the late 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
when I was actually growing up. So I thought that the Hepburns were basically my heroes. Audrey and Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn more because she's zany and she's like exactly who she needs to be and there's nobody like her. And I think that's kind of me. I'm not everybody's flavor, but I'm confident in my flavor. So if you like it, let's play. If not, I guess I'll move on.
I love it.
So yeah, I guess that's it. And I haven't met any heroes
That
necessarily.
Let you down.
No.
All right, that's good. That's
Thank
good.
goodness. Yeah, I met Sir Ben Kingsley one time and Patrick Stewart, and they were both lovely, and I was like trembling.
I met
guess-
Morgan Freeman at the Golden Globes one year, and I was just like, I just have to say hi. I know it's annoying, but I'm an actor, and I look up to you, and I think you're wonderful. And I was nervous. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's very nice of you. That's very nice of you." He's like, "Would you like to have a picture?"
What?
like,
He
yes.
offered the picture?
Yeah, he offered it.
Stop it.
So, well, let's get a picture or something like that.
Oh, he's
Yeah. I was with my
incredible.
friend Chris. Yeah, we were so excited.
I met James Cromwell once because Babe is my favorite movie.
Oh.
And I put my hand in his unwarranted and I started crying. And I said, I'm Felicia. I started sobbing. I love your work. And he looked at me like I was an alien.
Well, this has been a blast. You guys, Third Eye is on Audible. She loves this. She's passionate about it. And when you're really passionate about something, it shows, it comes out. And I implore you, ask you to check this out because it's got so many great people in it. And she's worked her ass off. And it was one of the best shows Audible had. And that's huge. So check it out.
Thank you.
Yes, this has been a damn pleasure.
I know. I got to come back before 6 years.
Yes.
All right.
No,
Because then I'll have
anytime,
a teenager.
Anytime.
Oh,
As long
God.
as it's been a year.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
my thing. It's every year.
I don't want to. I would have nothing to talk about within a year.
Yeah, I never.
Except we never really talked about our ailments. I mean,
But we could talk about that next time.
next time it's an ailments podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ailments with Felicia Day.
Hashtag ailments.
All right.
All right.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. Bye.
Lovely conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Very appreciative of Felicia for coming on the podcast. And you should follow her and listen to her. And she's a joy. She's an absolute joy. What do we got here? I think before we leave, if you didn't listen to the beginning, the intro, have a listen, will you? Because that's got all the information. My Instagram link tree, where you can find all information, where I'm going, where I'll be, all that. Supporting Patreon. If you want to support this podcast, Patreon is something that has become a family. It's Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you. And it's amazing because there's this what do you call it, Ryan? There's this
Community.
of people that have become friends, and they talk small, they talk life, they just become lifelong friends. And I love that Patreon has created such a family environment. Also, top tiers, if you join a top tier, I send you a package of really fun stuff every couple of months and a little note from me personalized. And top tiers get their names shouted out every episode. And there's so many other perks. So check that out if you want to become, if you want to support the show, become a top tier, or there's other tiers where you can just support the podcast. But I really appreciate it. Patreon.com/inside of you. Let's read out our top tiers.
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Nancy D, Leah and Kristen, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Nico P, and Zach, Robert B, Jason W, Dreamweaver, Sophie Miller, Raj C. I'll never be able to pronounce your last name. Chagsworthy, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle B, Mike E, Eldon Supremo, 99 more, Santiago M, Leanne P.
Maddie S, Belinda N, Dave H.
Oh, let me say that one.
Oh, you want to do that?
Dave H. Hey, Michael, it's Dave H. Dave Hall. I love you, Dave.
What is he, a Stephen Merchant character?
Yeah, I guess.
Brad D, Ray H, Tabitha T, Tom N, Talia M, Betsy D, Rhiannon C, Corey K, Dev Naxon, Michelle A, Jeremy C, Mr. Melsky.
Mr. Melsky. Hi, Mr. Melsky. Eugene and Leah. The Salty Ham. Mel S, Chris, Eric H, Oracle, Amanda R, William K, Kevin E, Jor L, Jammin J, Leanne J, Luna R, M, Mike, that's Mike F, Brian L, Jules M, Jessica B, Kyle F, Kaylee J, what up, Kaylee, and Charlene A, and Brian A, it's Kaylee J, actually, Marion Louise L, Romeo the Band, Frank B, Jen T. Want to say a few more?
Sure.
Let me say a few of these beautiful names, like April RM. How would you say April RM?
April RM.
Yeah.
Coming in hot at 95.5 KLOS. Randy S. Jen, Carolina girl.
Jen.
Nick W. Stephanie and Evan.
Known as Stefan.
I was going to say like a pop.
Stephanie and Evan.
Like a pop folk duo from the 2010s.
Stephanie Evan. Well, the world needs more love. I don't know what I'm doing.
Charlene A.
Don Giovanni.
Don G.
Don. Jenny B.
That's the day my daughter's wedding.
I had a friend named Jenny Bookout. I wonder if it's Jenny Bookout.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Jennifer R. Hi, Jennifer R. Tina E. There's Sheila E. And there's Tina E. NG Tracy. What does NG stand for, you think? New gal?
Or it could just be her last name first.
Huh. There's a last name NG?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tasha S. Keith B. Waffles. I love my waffles. How do you like your waffles, Ryan? Blueberry?
Ooh.
Little
crispy,
butter?
Little
crispy? With
crispy.
like some regular maple syrup.
Hard to get out of the waffle iron at the hotel. Those are the best ones.
Oh, yes. Yes. Heather and Greg, my dear friends, and Ellie K, sweet Ellie K, Ben B, Jammin, and Pierre C. Thank you guys so much for supporting this podcast. It means the world to me. Hopefully you'll continue to support me, and we'll keep doing this. And I'll try to get the best guests I can. And from the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Tails.
Little wave to the camera. We'll see you soon. Message me, say hello. Instagram's at the Michael Rosenbaum, Linktree with all that stuff. And most importantly, Ryan, say it.
Be good to yourself.
It's that easy. Be good to yourself. I'm trying.
The fart book is here.
There's the fart book.
I found it.
Yeah, it's pre-order. They didn't even tell me. And then I asked them, they go, oh yeah, we like to pre-order stuff 5 months in ahead. But it's going to be in, I guess, every bookstore around the country come October. It's so much fun, this book. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, enough about me, more about you. Take care of you. I'll see you next week. Thanks so much.